Which is better, Raleigh or Charlotte? Charlotte. Now call me and start packing. What's going on, everybody? It's Sasha, your market expert here in Charlotte. Hope you all are doing well. And as you would imagine, I talk to people daily from all over the United States, even people from different countries. I've spoken to people from Russia, Spain, Italy, Japan, Australia, a ton of places that I really never thought, people from different countries would be reaching out to me and asking me questions about Charlotte, moving to Charlotte, living in Charlotte. Most of the time, people ask me specific questions that are aimed towards them and catered towards them, but I do get a lot of common questions. So today we're going to be going over the top 10 most frequently asked questions that I get from people. So hopefully it will help answer some questions that you might have, but you guys already know by now. Call, text, or email me anytime. I'd love to talk with you a little bit more. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and if you know somebody that might find this information useful, do me a favor and share the video. Everything I just mentioned is 100% free, and I really do appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me, and I look forward to making a ton more videos in the future. Now, with that being said, let's get started with the top 10 most frequently asked questions that I get. All right, now let's talk about hurricanes, and this is a question that I get asked often, and my fiance and I, we get a lot of text messages anytime there's a hurricane somewhere in the south, our friends and family asking if we're okay and things like that. So we're located 2.5 hours inland from the coast, which is a pretty good distance, and we've lived here over 7 years now, and there honestly has not been a time where there's been a hurricane coming through that we've had to worry about or prepare for or anything like that. I know the biggest hurricane that's came through Charlotte that actually caused like a significant amount of damage was Hurricane Hugo, and that was in 1989. So over 30 years ago. Other than that, we do get the rain, we'll get some wind and things of that nature. And, if it's raining for a couple days straight, then, the soil loosens up. And then if we get, some gusts of wind, these big tall trees that we have, some of them can go down. But as far as what I would consider a legit hurricane, that's not really something, I worry about, or the people that I know that live here worry about at all. Like I said, we're, 2.5 hours inland. So it could be, a category 5 hurricane that hits the coast, but, you need to get 160 miles west to, get towards Charlotte. All right, so question number 2 is diversity. So as I mentioned earlier, people from all over the world are relocating to Charlotte. So in my opinion, Charlotte is extremely diverse, and you'll know it just by going around to different areas, restaurants. There's a ton of diversity to be had, and actually right now I'm on Central, and right down the street is Plaza Midwood, which is our kind of like hipster area and things like that. And there's a ton of different ethnic restaurants and cultures and everything right kind of on this main road within a 2-3 mile stance. And I'm from Bosnia, which is in Eastern Europe, and most people that I talk to, they don't even know where or what Bosnia is. So just to show you a little bit of how diverse Charlotte is, right here behind me, this is a Bosnian market, and it's also a cafe where they serve authentic Bosnian food. Now, with a country as small as Bosnia, if there's a cafe and a market where you can get authentic goods, that should tell you a little bit about our diversity. So in regards to property taxes, I always like to round up. So I just use 1% of the purchase price. So if you're buying a $400,000 home, that's $4,000 a year on property taxes. $500,000 home, that's $5,000 a year on property taxes. Now, the good news is they're not going to use the purchase price as your starting point. They're actually going to use the assessed value of the home, which it's going to come out to be a little bit lower. Now, the exact numbers are going to be 0.77 of a percent or 0.8 of a percent. So the exact calculation on it is going to be, you take the purchase price or the assessed value. Assessed value is going to give you the actual number. The purchase price is just nice to round up so you can potentially see what it will be in the future once they reassess the home. You take the assessed value, you divide it by 100, and then you multiply it by 6,169, and that'll give you your yearly property taxes. Now, the fourth most common question that I get is Charlotte affordable to live? And that answer is yes. Charlotte is below the national average for cost of living, but if you've seen my other videos, and based off of all this information I'm giving you all, you know and I know that this is not going to be sustainable. So Charlotte, as of right now, is really affordable to live, especially when you're comparing it with these other big cities, California, New York, New Jersey, DC, and that's kind of where most of the people are moving to Charlotte from. But this trend is not going to continue. I think within the next 5 to 10 years, cost of living is definitely going to go up as the house prices increase, as we have more jobs, more people moving into the area. It's just natural and it's going to happen. But as of right now, it is really affordable and it is below the national cost of living when you're looking at all the numbers. Now, this is going to actually bring me to my next point, which is why are so many people moving to the Charlotte area? So the first thing is going to be that cost of living factor. As I mentioned, a lot of people from other big cities where it's a lot more expensive to live, the property taxes are $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a year. Those are the people that are coming here for a different quality of life, better weather. You get more house for the money that you can get in other places. And I mean, Charlotte in general is just booming. I mean, it's the biggest city in the Carolinas. And if you don't want to go to Florida for whatever reason, if you don't like it and you want to be somewhere that's geographically located where you can get to the mountains, you can get to the beach, you can get to Florida in 6 hours. South Carolina is right across the border. DC's a 6-hour drive. I mean, Tennessee, 6 hours. I mean, 4 hours. But you're so close to everything, and it's just a different quality of life here. And it's such a good place to live and raise a family. And with the population growth, we have all these Fortune 500 companies coming into the area. Skyscrapers are being built up. So many people are just making Charlotte its own city, and it's starting to get its own character here. So I think a lot of people just want to partake in that growth. Charlotte's a big city, but it's not so big that you feel like you can't make an impact if you move here, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. Now, kind of staying on that same topic, people ask me about the infrastructure of Charlotte and, what's going to be happening, what the plans are, how is Charlotte going to be able to accommodate all the activity that's going on. And Charlotte has master plans till about 2040. So they're constantly working on the roads, infrastructure, right? They're making bypasses, toll roads. We have the light rails in place. There's a whole bunch of phases, which is going to make our public transportation a lot better. But in general, Charlotte still has a lot of room to grow. There's still a lot of land that's left undeveloped. And as we grow, it's just going to keep going further and further out to accommodate all the people that are going to be coming here. So, when you compare it to other cities, for example, let's take Boston, for example. I've been to Boston before, absolutely beautiful city. I rented a car. One of the biggest mistakes I made because I could not find parking for the life of me. I ended up just parking the car at the Airbnb, and I took their train system, and I barely used the car. I could not find parking anywhere. So in an example like that, Charlotte, when you go uptown, they're building a ton of parking garages because they know in the future parking is going to be an issue. So they're looking at other big cities and some of the issues that they have, and they're implementing those problems and how they can fix them here. So the infrastructure for Charlotte is doing really well. Eventually, who knows, 50 years down the line, it might not be so well if we get overpopulated or whatever the case is. But as of right now, I mean, we have really sustained growth. And as I mentioned, we have plans for 2040 of how we're going to keep growing and, you know, keep our transportation, keep everything going smoothly. So, I mean, that's just a little bit about Charlotte's infrastructure. So another question that I get is about jobs. So Charlotte has a really low unemployment rate comparing it to other cities, as always. But I'll tell you, I can only tell you from my experience, and I would just recommend going on Indeed or ZipRecruiter and seeing what jobs are available in your field. But again, this is going to vary on, you know, your education, your resume, your qualifications, your past experience, and things like that. But I will tell you, when I first moved here, I did not have an issue landing jobs. I landed several different jobs until I found, you know, my career, which is real estate now. And I only had an associate's degree in applied science and emergency medical science. But that degree did not help me land, you know, an insurance job, working at a car dealership, and everything like that. So it's all going to depend on your qualifications. But as Charlotte's a growing city, there's a reason people are moving here, and the reason the Fortune 500 companies are moving here. So there's no shortage of opportunity here in Charlotte. But again, it's going to vary on your resume, your qualifications. You know, check out Google, Craigslist. You know, search the fields. I know the predominant fields here are financial, healthcare, and our tech industry is doing really well now. So if you're in one of those fields, you'll definitely have an easier time landing a job. But like I said, the internet's your best friend. Check it out. Check out some websites, and you know, you can kind of make that decision for yourself if Charlotte has, you know, the prospective job in your field. Now, another interesting question I get is about safety. And again, this is going to depend on where you're moving here from and your perspective. So my perspective, I moved to Charlotte from Cleveland, Ohio, which was, you know, in the top 10, top 15 most dangerous cities to live in. So coming to Charlotte, I mean, it almost felt like a complete 180 because I've never felt in danger here or anything like that. Now, are there some neighborhoods where I don't want to catch a flat tire or my car to break down if it's about to get dark? Absolutely. But, you know, I don't hang out in those neighborhoods. I don't know what goes on. You know, you guys can check the crime stats, crime rates, violent crimes or anything like that. But my perspective on living here, I've never been scared of going somewhere, never felt in danger or anything like that. And based on all the families that I hope move here, you know, safety is one of their top concerns when they're moving into a neighborhood, into a school district. And, you know, there's never been a time yet where I've ran into an issue where, oh, this place is not safe or not, you know, we want to stay away from there. You know, so that's really as much as I can tell you about safety. If you want to have a personal conversation and talk a little bit more, you know how to reach out to me, call, text, or email me, and we can chat a little bit more. Now, another common question is, again, public transportation. I get this quite often, and you know, these questions are from the people that are living in New York, New Jersey, Boston, you know, where they're renting an apartment. They could just walk downstairs, take the elevator downstairs, and they can be at, you know, their restaurant, their coffee shop, you know, the boutique shops and everything. Charlotte's public transportation is not up to par when it's compared with those other major cities. You will most likely be needing a car when you move to Charlotte, but there are a bunch of neighborhoods that have that walkability where you have everything kind of at your disposal and at your fingertips. But, you know, those areas are going to be a little bit more expensive to live than some others. But that is kind of the best description I can tell you. You're going to need a car unless you live in a select 3 to 5 neighborhoods where you have all that stuff at your disposal. Next question. Which is better, Raleigh or Charlotte? Charlotte. Now call me and start packing. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye.